I'm working on a little DIY project involving a remote control that uses Bluetooth to control my phone while I watch YouTube videos to learn new languages. One key feature I really need is the ability to rewind by 10 seconds. After doing a lot of searching online, I couldn't find any existing remote controls that offer this rewind or fast-forward function. Most of the ones out there only let you play, pause, or skip to the next or previous video. So I decided to build one myself. To make it work, I need a microcontroller that supports Bluetooth Low Energy, also known as BLE. It has to be low power with deep sleep capabilities to save energy when it's not in use. I actually have a few development boards on hand, like the Arduino Uno, the Mega, and the ESP32 DevKit V1. But they're just way too big for what I'm trying to build. So, they're not suitable for this project. Then I looked into the ESP32 C3 mini development board. It seemed like it might fit the bill, but I ran into a few issues. The main challenge comes from powering it with a lithium polymer battery. A typical LiPo battery runs at around 3.7 volts and can go up to 4.2 volts when fully charged. That's a problem, because the ESP32 mini board is designed to run on 3.3 volts. So if you connect the battery directly, you risk damaging the board. On the other hand, the 5-volt input won't work either, since the LiPo's voltage isn't high enough to reliably power it. To make it work, you need a separate voltage regulator or boost converter to get the voltage just right. And on top of that, you need a charging board for the battery too. By the time you stack all those extra components together, it's too bulky to fit inside the tiny case I'm using for the remote control. Luckily, I found the perfect board for my project, the Xiao ESP32 C3 mini development board from Seed Studio. It has everything the regular ESP32 C3 board offers, but with some added bonuses. It comes with a built-in power regulator and a charging system, so you can connect a LiPo battery directly. No extra boards needed. Even better, it's super efficient. In deep sleep mode, it only draws about 20 microamps, which makes it ideal for low power applications like this one. For the Xiao ESP32 C3 Mini, I assigned the pins like this. I used the D0 as an analog input to detect the battery level. D1 to D4 are connected to the 4 buttons on the remote control. And D10 is the only output I'm using. It drives the LED battery indicator. As I mentioned earlier, the board operates at 3.3 volts. That means feeding it anything higher could damage it. So, to safely read the battery voltage, I used the voltage divider to cut the input voltage in half. The resistors for this should be between 200K and 300K ohms. For the casing, I reused an old lighting remote control that was no longer working. I removed all the internal components, basically threw away the guts and kept just the button board. To match my circuit, I had to rewire the buttons so they connect properly to the pins on my microcontroller. I also kept the original built-in LED from the remote and repurposed it for the battery level indicator. Nice and simple. The remote came with an external antenna, which turned out to be surprisingly powerful. It can reach up to 10 meters without a problem. To hold the microcontroller securely in place, I used the mouldable plastic clay. It let me position everything neatly and made sure the USB-C charging port stays accessible. I used the Arduino IDE for programming. At the time of this project, the latest version was 2.3.4. You can grab the ESP32 BLE keyboard library from GitHub. I'll include the link below. It's easy to install and set up, but there's one important thing to note. Depending on your phone's security settings, not all devices will accept input from custom-made BLE keyboards right out of the box. If your phone doesn't respond to the remote, you might need to make a small change in the BLE library's source code. It's a .cpp file written in C++. Once you've made the change, be sure to quit and restart the Arduino IDE to apply it. In the Arduino IDE, go to File, Open, and look for your library folder. Copy the file path and open it in your File Explorer. Look for a file called blackeyboard.cpp under ESP32BLE keyboard master folder. Open it. Scroll to around line 130 and adjust the security command as needed. To save battery, the remote is programmed to automatically enter deep sleep mode if no buttons are pressed for 150 seconds. When it's sleeping, it uses very little power, perfect for keeping the battery lasting as long as possible. To wake it up, just press any button on the top row of the remote. The system will instantly wake up and be ready to use again. Here's the setup I ended up with. The remote has 4 buttons. Rewind 10 seconds. Play, pause. Battery check. Fast forward 10 seconds. When I press the battery check button, if the battery is fully charged, around 4.2 volts, the LED blinks 6 times. If the battery is low, around 3.3 volts, it blinks 2 times. It's a simple way to check the power level without a screen. Let me walk you through how the program works.
最後に紹介する世界遺産は小笠原諸島です。小笠原諸島は東京から南に約 1000km は小笠原諸島です。小笠原最後に紹介する世界遺産は1キロ離れた島々です。できません。東京から船に乗ると24時間もかかります。
Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please give it a like, share it with friends, and drop a comment below. Your feedback means a lot. and it definitely motivates me to keep sharing more projects like this one.